Hello, everyone. We are
Hello.
live. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
And your eyes are not fooling yourselves. It is Monday. It is noon, and both me and Carly are here at the same time. I don't think we've been able to say that for a while because
It's
it's
been
been
rough,
like guest hosts. We're doing it on Tuesday. We're doing it on Thursday. Who
but you
knows?
know what? It's not our fault because we're being thrown so many new
I
things.
blame Disney and Universal for
Correct.
the flood of media events in the last few weeks. I'm glad you survived and came back
Yes.
intact.
Yes.
So let's check in. Of course, first up in the chat, as always, hello, Michael Bingham. He was at Universal all day Friday, got drenched in the rain, but I see you got to see the new shows. So we will definitely be talking about that this
Yep.
episode for sure. In Derico's Corner, Blossom and Michelangelo. Hello, guys. And yeah, we've got a lot of mostly Universal news
That's okay.
to
I'm in
talk
my hey,
about.
I'm wearing my Universal shirt, so
Ooh, that's a classic.
yes.
I'm wearing another classic.
Yes.
You can tell it's laundry day. All right. Well, we've got Ann Weiser now checking in to say hi. And Brian Sager is very excited. I guess the medallions for Dark Universe got shipped out. I
They
wouldn't know that because I don't get those, but
they did just start
that's very
arriving
exciting.
today.
Oh yeah, and test track walls are up. If you did not get to see Tron Track, Test Track 2.0 this last weekend, you're gonna have to wait for Test Track 3.0 coming sometime in the not too distant future, hopefully.
Yes.
That is not actually on our agenda of things to talk about
We have a
this
lot of
week,
other stuff.
but we've got a lot of other things to talk about. We've got 50 something people on the live stream. So let us jump into this thing in 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello and welcome to the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. I'm Seth.
And I'm Carly.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what is going on in our own lives. And normally I would ask Carly, how have you been? But I know how you've been. You have been crazy with theme park media events. I was just a little bit, but not as much as you. Welcome back from your travels.
Thank you. It was a longer than usual run. It was 10 days. It's kind of bittersweet when everything happens back to back because I'm like, I wish things would be a little bit more separate because it's so nice. It's like,
Can't even process it.
Yes, it's like a media family reunion to see everyone, to hang out with you. I started out on Disney Cruise Line to preview the new Disney Look at Key at Lighthouse Point.
So we talked about that on the show while you weren't here, but give us your too long didn't read. How did you like the new private island area?
I loved it. I am a beach girl. I grew up at the beach. So when I go on these cruises, if I'm getting off the boat, I'm going because I want to go for a beach. This was, I will say, the most beautiful beach, sand, and water I have ever seen in my life. I swam almost the entire time we were there, like 5 hours. The people next to me were like, this reminds us of when we went to Bora Bora. I've never been to Bora Bora, but I can say, having gone to most of the Caribbean, Bahamas, it was the best beaches I've ever seen. So hands down, loved it. Great kid stuff. I went on like the water slides there. So it's really fun. I enjoyed it. It's a totally different vibe than today,
And were you on the Magic?
Yes.
The Disney Magic? That is my favorite ship. It's the smallest, it's the oldest, but it still has a charm to me that I like better than the big one.
So I think it's my favorite now.
Yeah.
And I think it's for those exact reasons.
It's cozy.
The charm, it's cozy. It's the smallest, but for some reason I've noticed all the adult menus are like the largest on here. Like O'Gill's, the Irish pub. There's a lounge from Seoul that's huge. The nightclub. I mean, it was like we had so much space to go. I loved it. I think it might be my favorite.
I got to do it after a dry dock almost a decade ago, and I know they've had a lot more changes since. So I would love to take another trip. Disney, if you're listening,
Yes. Yeah.
And then, of course, you were around for the media event for Tiana's, which we
Mhm.
also talked about last week. I know some folks who tried to get it on the annual pass holder previews were disappointed because there have been some technical challenges, but you got to ride it, right?
Yeah, so I went into it with an open mind, but also cautiously optimistic. Don't like
Mhm.
to say like I don't think I'm gonna like something. I didn't think I was gonna love it. Uh, Full disclosure, I did not get to ride it the media day
Oh,
because
wow.
it kept breaking down and the
Oops.
animatronics weren't working. And
Oh.
it was really, really hot. And after I waited like an hour, I was like, "Ah,
Mhm.
no,
Mhm.
I'll come back. So they were able to accommodate me the following day.
That's great.
It actually worked out in my favor. Every single animatronic worked,
Ooh,
whereas the day
nice.
before it was not the same
Yeah,
story.
I heard some bad things about it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't expect to love it.
Mhm.
I loved it. Like, I've been thinking about it. I'm going back for when it opens to the public, and I'm gonna buy my Lightning Lane. It was so good. I mean, I love log flume attractions, so this was that, obviously, Splash Mountain. The animatronics were so good. The music was so good. I love the little critters. I know, like, we were, like, joking because they keep introducing critter after critter after
I
critter,
know, right? Very
but
critter heavy.
yes, I loved it, and, it just made me happy, which is what I wanna feel when I'm on an attraction. I'm glad I knew the story before going in because it might be a little confusing if you don't know what
Mhm.
exactly is happening. Um, Animatronics were great, and then the finale scene was, like,
Yeah.
breathtaking.
Yeah. At first I was a little disappointed that they weren't going to retain the riverboat. But I think there's just so much visually going on between the different layers of animatronics and then the screens back behind them. I think that scene really is a lot of fun, even though it's a song that you're not already familiar with, because it's a new song that's been written just for the ride. I think that's going to become an earworm, especially since it's only about 30 seconds long.
Yes, and just that scene with everything going on, I only got to go on it once. I would
Uh-huh.
have loved to ride it, like, a few times in a
Mhm.
row because
Yeah.
it's, like, breathtaking. I mean, I honestly I again, I didn't think I was gonna like it, and I loved it.
Uh,
Been thinking about it every day, so that says something.
and now we just have to wait for the Disneyland version to open.
Yes, yes.
And then the final leg of your trip was over at Universal, and I got to meet up with you. It was
Yes.
seeing you in person, get to hang out at the media event. And I think that a lot of the rest of what you did is going to be covered in our news in the queue. So
Yes.
without any further ado, let's jump on in. All right, this week's news in the queue, as we mentioned, is going to be very Universal heavy. So we are going to start out with the new CineSational, a Symphonic Spectacular, which is the new, don't call it a drone show,
Nope.
but it is a fountain, laser, music, pyro show that also happens to include the first permanent or long-term drone show inside a U.S. Universal theme park, which is very exciting. So we both got to see its big media debut. It is now running nightly for all guests. We have an article up on our website with some photos and videos taken by myself and our publisher, Matt. And we've also got a link to a full recording of the 22-minute show on our YouTube channel. So you can watch it for yourself to see what you think. What, Carly, was your take on the new CineSational?
Yes, I actually just watched our video again because I
Uh,
saw it in person and I wanna see it again immediately.
yep.
I am not a nighttime spectacular girl. I hate waiting. I don't like the crowds.
Mhm.
I feel like the hype never lives up to it. This was amazing. It was one of the best things that Universal has done. It was just it's hard to explain because it's not a drone show, but the drones just kind of complement everything that's
Mhm.
going on.
Yeah.
I loved obviously the classic movies, Back to the Future, E.T. I mean, there's so many times I was standing with my friend Tara, we like gasped
Uh-huh.
Because there was just things I didn't expect, or the drones. Not to spoil, the drones did the ET finger thing, and it was emotional. But then
Yeah.
also they weaved in newer franchises like
Mhm.
Trolls and stuff, and it didn't feel like it was out of place.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of a really big task.
Yeah.
Uh, I know a lot of people that were there for the preview that went back the next night and even the next night. People that are not like nighttime people,
Mhm.
because it was so good.
I totally understand how they feel. I want to give a huge shout out to Mike Aiello, Jason McManus, the whole rest of the creative team who worked on this. This was kind of weird for me because the very first big newspaper article I ever wrote about a theme park was about the Universal Cinesphere. Do you remember the
Mm,
Universal 360 show where they
yeah.
had big inflatable balls that they would try to project things on, and everyone turned out really looking warped and distorted. It was an interesting concept at the time. It was, Universal trying to compete with Disney, and every few years they've put out a new show. They've added, big water screens. They've added lasers. They've added the big fountains, and each time it gets a little better and a little closer. And each time we're like, oh, this is almost getting close to like Disney quality. This is the first time I think we can truly say that Universal has met or exceeded the Disney quality nighttime spectacular standard. I would put this show ahead of the current version of World of Color out at DCA. I don't think it's quite as good as the original World of Color, which still has a big place in my heart. But I would take this over the current 100th anniversary World of Color for sure.
100%. I'm not a huge World of Color person. I love this, and it might be like my favorite nighttime show in a long time. One of the best. The music,
Hmm.
it just really, I mean, they pull on your heartstring, but it's not just like leaning into just nostalgia. It's actually well done
Yeah.
with the water projections. I love the buildings behind. They also project on, and not to ruin it, but
Yeah.
in the Back to the Future, one of them becomes the courthouse. That was also another moment where I gasped. And
And
it's
really,
just so much.
some of the best, tightest, sharpest projection mapping. I
Mhm.
mean, they've projection mapped onto those buildings for a bunch of shows now and done the thing where they burn or they crumble. And it was always cool, but it was always also a little fuzzy, a little janky. This is definitely the tightest projection mapping that they've ever done. And in terms of the music, I love that it is a full kind of composed orchestral score that carries you from the beginning to the end. The last couple shows that they've had have been very stop and start. Like they do a segment and then everything kind of goes dark and the energy kind of
Transitions,
drops.
perfect. Yeah.
The transitions for this just flow. Everything meshes together. I love the way we go from Ghostbusters or the classic Universal monsters into the Ghostbusters, and then the Minions interrupt it with a really funny moment. I love the way that the Back to the Future theme hits.
Mhm.
There's just so many, like you said, emotional moments. The drones make E.T. and Elliot on the bikes going across the moon.
Yes, that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, just really, and there's funny stuff in there too. I got to say, when I heard that they were using Super Mario Brothers in it,
Oh
I
my God.
like an orchestral version of the Super Mario Brothers theme. Oh no, it's Peaches.
It's freaking Peaches.
The whole freaking song. That was
Well,
one of those moments I'm like, what were the executives when they pitched, we want to do Peaches as part of a
that
night
was
spectacular.
brilliant. I did not expect that. And
Not see
as
that
you
coming.
know, I went to Pat O'Brien's after to decompress after this because it was a lot to take in. I saw Mike Aiello, and we were all like,
Wow.
congrats, this is amazing, but also thank you for bringing Peaches. Like,
Uh, uh, yeah, there's just this is one that I am definitely going to go back to see over and over.
yes.
And hopefully this will run for a long time. This will not just be for the summer and then get put away with budget cuts. I hope that they keep this around. I was also surprised there's more pyro, I felt like, than they've had in their last few shows. There are very famously annoyed neighbors right across the street who usually don't like fireworks. So I was very surprised how much pyro they got away with.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a great show. Like we said, it's running right now nightly at Universal Studios Florida. You don't need any kind of ticket. They don't have any kind of dining packages right now. Basically, if you kind of just show up at the viewing area over in Central Park, 15, 20 minutes ahead, you should easily get a good spot. And you can see most of it from all the way around the lagoon, but the only place to get a really good view of the drones would be the south side of the lagoon. If you're on the north side of the lagoon, you're going to be facing the wrong way.
Absolutely. And back to Mike Aiello, he also said his favorite spot to watch was from the grass. So like not
Yes.
right into the water, back. So
Yeah.
that's where I watched it from. And it was perfect. I saw everything. I got the projections, the drones, whatnot. So I'm excited to see, like, I don't like going to Happily Ever After 90 minutes before to get a good spot. I'm excited to see, like, hey, can I roll up like 15 minutes before this and get like a decent spot on the grass? Because I think a lot of people intuitively go to the front, but you don't need to with this.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The front row can be fun if you like getting a little wet. It's very immersive because the water screens kind of surround you, but you're going to constantly be looking up and around. You can't really take in the whole thing at once. I think you're further back, higher back on the grass, definitely the way to go if you want to be able to take in the whole thing.
Yes.
So,
go see this.
Yes.
Plan your night around it.
Very excited to see this. I would guess that this is going to run through August at least, but it probably will take a break around Halloween because the park closes before nightfall during the Halloween season. But hopefully for Christmas, it will be back. And hopefully they'll also use this infrastructure. I don't think this Halloween is probably too soon for them to have a new fountain show, but maybe in future they'll be able to use it because those Halloween fountain shows were, I think, better than the old nighttime.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. All right. So once you've seen CineSational, they're keeping Islands of Adventure open like an hour later than the studios. So you have just enough time to hop over to IOA and see Hogwarts Always. And this is the brand new projection show that is running on Hogwarts Castle. And they've had a bunch of these over the years, but like we said, they just keep raising the bar. Definitely the technologically the most advanced one they've had. I asked Aiello, these are the brand new 4K laser Christie projectors, the sharpest, brightest laser projectors you can find on the planet, and they have really fine-tuned. I think this was like felt the most three-dimensional to me of all the projection mapping shows they've done.
Technologically amazing. I also love the story. It was just like easy to follow, bringing you through a year in the life of a Hogwarts student. Very simple, all the 9 yards with taking the Hogwarts Express there, going to Honeydukes. Loved it. Fast paced. I mean, it was great.
I really liked that it did have that through line because the old nighttime lights show, which was the standard projection show, was just kind of a clip show. You'd see a bunch of characters, a bunch of things, but it didn't really connect to anything, And this, you've got narrators kind of carrying you through. And what I thought was interesting, I also asked Mike about this. So you hear Dumbledore, you hear Hagrid, and you hear the Sorting Hat, and they all sound spot on. This is not like the old Hermione voice on the train. Like they all sound like the actors. I was like, did you use archival audio? Did you use artificial intelligence or something? It's like, oh no, we found a really good voice actor, and it's the same voice actor doing all three, and they don't sound like the same actor at all. So I was really impressed with that. And the other thing that I thought was really cool is they have 4 different endings. So whether you root for Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw or Gryffindor or even Slytherin, you will get your chance. They will rotate each night through the different endings, and you never know which one you're going to see. So I thought that was a really cool.
I got this. I'm a Slytherin, and I got to see my ending.
Of course you are. Yeah, I was actually very surprised that at the media event, I figured, of course, they're going to run Gryffindor. They, it's always all about Gryffindor. But no, they did Hufflepuff.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Ravenclaw.
They did Ravenclaw. I'm sorry. They did Ravenclaw, and then they did Slytherin, which I thought was really cool. I like the green. They turned this for Slytherin. The castle all turns green and starts. It's really cool.
It was really very, very, very cool.
So this show. One last thing to note: this is 7 minutes long. The old one was only 4 minutes long. So you're definitely getting more bang for your buck for this one. They say it runs select nights, and they don't really specify which the select nights are. I think it's pretty much going to run every night during the summer season, and then we'll see what happens after that. Aiello did say that the Christmas show and the Dark Arts show are still going to be in rotation. Those haven't been retired, so we should still see those at some point, later in the season. And this also looks like it's going to be exclusive to Islands of Adventure, at least for this year.
Well, not to bring up
okay.
Michael Aiello again. I
Yes,
feel
all
like
right.
I'm drinking game for this.
I know. Take a shot.
When I saw him at Pat O'Brien's, he did say Hollywood next year.
Yes. So I wasn't gonna credit him for that because he was very cagey with me. But I do know someone who knows someone who's in pyro at Universal Hollywood, and they not for this year, but for next year, they're working on a version of the show that should have a lot more pyro. This version is like all the other projection shows we've had here at IOA, where you just get 2 tiny little bursts of pyro at the very end. Just gives a little button on the finale, but there should be some more fireworks if and when this makes it over to Hollywood next year.
But you know what? Honestly, I don't really need more fireworks.
Doesn't really need it. No.
There's so much going on with the projections, and they're so intricate. I mean, my gaze was hooked the entire time. Of course, at the end, I like how it shoots the colors of each of the houses, but I really don't need more than that.
Yeah. So just like the CineSational show, we've also got a full video of this up on our YouTube channel with the Slytherin ending. Yeah. So go online and check it out. All right. And since we just can't get enough of Universal, there was another opening this past week. The Epic Universe Preview Center, which took over the old Universal Legacy store in City Walk, is now open, giving us a sneak peek of the new theme park opening in 2025. We've got photo ops, we've got merchandise, and most importantly, we have a massive scale model of the whole park that uses augmented reality technology to give folks a little preview of what's going on inside. I thought this was super cool.
I don't know why. Maybe it was because I was emotionally drained after traveling for 10 days, but I did tear up when I saw this. It's really quite amazing to see in real life, and also just the grand scheme that we're getting an entirely new park for the first time in over 20 years is crazy to me. If you can make it out to the preview center, you will spend a long time. A lot of people are just in there looking at every single little detail because there's just so much to see.
Yeah, this I was prepared. I've seen models like this before. Back in the day, before Islands of Adventure opened, they built a model like this for their preview center, and I used to spend hours staring at it. I think if nothing else, the craft of model building has advanced so much in the last 25 years. Just look at the trees. In the old days, for a model like this, you would just have a blob of styrofoam, a green blob of styrofoam on a stick, or a paper cutout to represent where the trees would be. These trees are so infinitely detailed. I can just stare at this. Some of these shots, if you cropped out the background, you would almost think it was, real life and not just a model.
Right. I mean, especially
it's so much texture, so much, just amazing. And I've got some friends who may have worked on this model.
Ooh.
And from what I am told, the labor and materials expense for this was well over $1 million.
Oh.
That doesn't even take into account what they spent to develop the augmented reality app that lets you see people walking around the model, lets you see rides running around the tracks. That's just for to build this thing. And gosh, I hope it doesn't end up in a dumpster. I hope that maybe they can auction off pieces of it for charity when they're done with it, or at least put it in a museum. Yeah. No, this is the closest model I've ever seen to this. Is if you ever go to the Walt Disney Family Museum up in San Francisco, they have a model of Walt's ideal Disneyland, and that's the only model I've ever seen of a theme park that's got this level of detail. I mean, you even look at the trains. I mean, it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I mean, it really is a sight to behold. You really have to see it. It is breathtaking. And then, of course, there's all the merchandise from each of the portals.
Oh, yes. They were nice enough to give us a nice bag of swag. at
Ooh,
the media event for the preview center. So I now have an Isle of Berk hat that I will proudly be
yes.
wearing around the parks.
What a shill.
Yeah. Yes, I am so easily purchased.
Me
You can
too.
buy me for the price of a hat. No, I mean I don't care if they give me merch or not. I am super excited
Me
to see
too.
this. I am on the hype train for this park. I don't care. I don't care what you say. I'm on the hype
I don't
train.
care either. It has to be great. It's going to be great. We know it's going to be great. That's it.
There are still sections of this that have not yet been revealed, specifically the Dark Universe. It looks like on the 20th, there's going to be a big media drop on
Yep.
that. And once that happens, new augmented reality components will activate on this model. And then next month, we'll probably get the final details on the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. For right now, if you use the AR app, and you can download that for free on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Do it before you show up at the park. Just get it loaded
Yeah.
onto your phone, but it doesn't actually do anything until you're in the room. If you look at the Dark Universe area, you'll see that the windmill has burning blades, like it
Mhm.
will in real life. But even better, if you watch long enough, you'll see a werewolf running through the land and people getting scared. It's really cute.
It is really, really cool. Again, like when I went in there a few times so far, every time I was in there, so many people. So clear, there's a lot of people that
Mhm.
are also hyped. I also love the Dark Universe merch. They did some really nice line of like
Yeah.
shirts. There's a poster, shot glasses, little crossbodies. So it's definitely fun if you want to start getting ready.
Yeah. I have a friend who is super, super excited about Dark Universe, and they had a question that I couldn't really answer is whether, and we know that there's going to be new versions of all the characters. We've seen some artwork, but I'm wondering if they're also going to sell merchandise featuring the classic versions of the characters too, because I know a lot of people
Ooh.
still love those. So we will have to see. If you can't make it out there, we've got videos, we've got photos, tons of them from me and Matt up on our website. And go ahead and check it out and join the hype train
Yeah.
along with us.
Full steam ahead. Choo
Yes.
choo.
So Universal is not the only ones who have things going on in Orlando this summer. We finally have an opening date of July 17th when the new Country Bear musical Jamboree will open at the Magic Kingdom. And I've always loved the Country Bears, so I can't wait for them to be back.
Yes. And I also have to say that's my birthday. So it's like a birthday present to me. Yeah.
Happy birthday!
1 month. We have 1 month to go.
So you will be able to celebrate your birthday here, if you are here, with new updated Disney music with a country style. And all the bears looks like they're getting new outfits. They've tweaked the lighting, and they've all got new songs to sing. We've talked previously about some of the songs that have dropped. And they recently had a little preview of Emily Ann Roberts, who is a finalist on The Voice, which is a NBC show. So I'm surprised that they're using that. But she recorded a twanging take on the song "Try Everything" from Zootopia that will be part
Very
of
good.
the new
I
show.
know Emily from my time in Nashville, so I
Oh
got to connect
wow!
with her a little bit when
Oh,
we
that's
were all
great.
there. Yeah, she performed a snippet of it at the presentation where they announced it, and
Oh
it's
wow!
she kills it. So good.
Amazing. Yeah, so we're also going to hear Mac McNally singing Bare Necessities, the classic from the Jungle Book. And there's a whole bunch more songs that are going to be there that we will find out certainly by the 17th when this opens up at Magic Kingdom. I
Very
can't
soon.
wait.
Me too. Me too. I love that show. I love sitting in there. So I think it's gonna be good.
However, with one hand they give to Frontierland, with another hand they take away. And the Magic Kingdom is losing an opening day attraction that you may never have actually heard of, or at least done. The Frontierland Shootin arcade has been part of the Magic Kingdom since day one. There actually used to be multiple shooting galleries. There was one in Adventureland that lasted a very short time back in the 70s. But the Frontierland one has been around forever. It was converted to infrared laser beams a long time ago so that no one could actually get shot by the guns. But this somehow managed to survive through the era of Disney, taking gun merchandise out of the parks, taking the guns away from the Jungle Cruise skippers. Disney has definitely, turned away from guns a lot over the years. I think the only guns now will probably be they still have some rifles in the fort on Tom Sawyer Island. Last I checked. I'm kind of shocked that if they are still there. But the Frontierland Shootin arcade will be gone very shortly. The last day for it is June 23rd, and by
Very
June
soon.
24th, less than a week away, it'll be gone.
Yeah, I think the last time I did it was like on the 50th when it was free.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. It was basically the only thing in the Magic Kingdom that you had to pay cash for.
Yeah.
Or actually, a while ago, they had added a way to take credit cards. I think they still have that in Disneyland, maybe. But when the parks reopened after the pandemic, they made it free, and no one noticed. We actually went a full edition of the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World, still saying that it costs money before someone noticed that no, it's free now. And I guess that was the beginning of the end. Like if it didn't have a revenue stream, then they're not gonna
Waste
keep
of
it.
space, yeah.
So, speaking of waste of space, it will be replaced by a Disney Vacation Club members lounge, where you'll be able to get seating and Wi-Fi and charge your
Yeah.
device, and maybe even some snacks and drinks. Very similar to the lounge that they have on the second floor of the Imagination Pavilion at Epcot. So we are continuing a tradition of taking something that was once an attraction that was available to everyone and putting it behind a very expensive timeshare paywall.
Yes.
Okay. Like we said, this is all part of a big year of change in Frontierland, which is also seeing Tiana's opening up and the new Country Bear at Jamboree. And we've also got the Cabins at Fort Wilderness Resort opening up on July 1st, thematically connected. I believe you and I will both be there to check that
Yes,
out as
we
well.
will. I have my cow print ready. I'm trying to get some good outfits. It's gonna be a good time.
And if you want to check that out for yourself, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help get you there. Finally, last piece of news in the queue. We thought it would never happen, but Epcot's multi-year transformation is finally complete with the grand opening of Communicore Hall, which includes the Mickey and Friends meet and greet, and Communicore Plaza. It all made its debut on June 10th, wrapping up the renovation of Epcot. And even though not everything that was promised to us actually happened, it's nice to finally have the construction walls be gone.
Yes.
Right?
That's a big win.
Yeah, that's a big win. So yes, Walt Disney said that Disneyland would never be complete, and it would always grow as long as there was imagination left in the world. Well, I guess Epcot's at least temporarily run out of imagination because they've declared an end to the big makeover. We got a lot of big things. We got Guardians of the Galaxy. We got Ratatouille. We got Moana, Journey of Water. Some things we also didn't get. We didn't get the Play Pavilion. We didn't get the Mary Poppins ride or the new 360 film in China.
The beer garden.
The beer garden and the big elevated private party area. But we did get Communicore Hall, which if you don't remember the old Communicore, you might be forgiven for not being quite sure what it took so long to build. Basically, they took a big shell of a building that was sort of crescent shaped and turned it into a big shell of a building that's kind of rectangular shaped. And it It looks a bit like a shopping mall or a hotel, more so than something a theme park. It's a little convention center-y,
Mhm.
but it provides some new air-conditioned indoor festival spaces.
That's what the old building did too. If you
Correct.
remember the glow donut
Yep.
inside.
It provides a new meet and greet area for Mickey and Minnie and friends, which the old building also had.
Mhm.
And finally, it also has a stage area that I was very excited for until I realized that it is completely unair conditioned. So
Correct.
pity the poor performers who are dancing their hearts out in the new Encanto show. It is kind of a storytelling show, a little bit similar to the Frozen storytelling show that they do in Hollywood studios, except it's doesn't have any snark. They're not making fun of it, which is what makes the Frozen show so much fun.
Yeah.
It is what is great is that it is a really representative cast of the Hispanic heritage of the story. It's done bilingually. It's great to see that representation, but it seems like it's a show that's made for kids.
Kids. Yeah.
It's very like the bulk of it seems to be this audience participation dance party, and God bless Maribel and Bruno who are out there dancing their hearts out with the kids in the heat. Um, but there isn't live singing, there isn't a live band, there isn't really any sets or props. So it's I hope that Encanto sometimes gets a show that's a little more substantial.
Worthy of it. Yeah.
Because look at the Coco show that they do out in Disney California Adventure, which is also a seasonal show.
Mhm.
Similar demographic, but it's got tons of dancers. It's got
Yeah.
this amazing marionette puppets. It's got the mariachi divas who literally have a Grammy award playing music. It's a huge production, even though it's outdoor street show. And I feel like this is not. While I give props to the people who work. I'm friends with the people who worked on this. They worked their butts off, but I feel like they were given a very small scope to work with, and I hope Encanto gets something. Well, apparently it's going to be coming to Animal Kingdom, so hopefully it will get something much bigger and better when that happens.
Yes. I was half alert during the show because I don't know if it's the way the building is. There's like no running air. I mean, obviously it's outside, but you don't feel a breeze, so it's
It's
very
it's
stifling.
like
I
yeah,
thought it'd
it's
be
like a
hot
hot
out.
box. It's like they build something that like traps like an air fryer that
Yes.
just circulates hot air in a circle.
It was rough. So I sort of paid attention to the show, sort of was just like to the side chugging water because it was a little hard to be out there.
Yeah. Well, even though they have declared this the end of Epcot's transformation, there is one more element still in progress. They just shut down Test Track 2.0, otherwise known as Tron Track, this weekend. And that is going to be transformed into the new Test Track 3.0, which will hopefully have some more physical sets and less flat cardboard cutouts. So,
Yes.
yay.
I'm ready for a change. I loved 1.0. It was just that like a time capsule, it just felt like a
It was
fun
super
time,
90s. It was
Yeah.
so 90s. But yeah, I got a soft spot in my heart for that. Hey, I say bring back World of Motion.
Yes.
It's fun to be free.
Give the people what they want.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the news in the queue. Before we jump into this week's main attraction, it is time to hear a word from our sponsors.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
It's time for the main attraction!
And for this week's main attraction, yep, we're going back to Universal Orlando,
Yay.
where the brand new DreamWorks Land is officially open as of June 14th. I got to do a preview a few weeks ago that we talked about. You and I were both there for the grand media opening celebration. I feel like we've talked a million times about what's coming here. So if you've ever listened to this podcast in the last 6 months, you've probably heard a lot of this before. But I think it's time for you and I, now that we've both seen it a couple times, spent
Yep.
some time in there, to give our hot takes on this new land. And overall, I would say I think it's a win in terms of Universal has always needed more things for young families, for little kids to be able to do. The Potter stuff, the big roller coasters, it's too much for the little ones. And it's great that they have something that, competes with Disney's little kid offerings, that's something that's just for them, which I think is great. But as as a Gen Xer, as someone who was there in the 90s and has fond memories of Woody Woodpecker and Fievel
Bible.
and Curious George, I have some thoughts, and I'm sure you do too.
Yes.
So let's talk through the elements of DreamWorks Land one at a time, and see what we thought. So the first thing you see as you walk in, there's a little tiny meet and greet area off to the left. But the first thing you really see is the Shrek area. You've got Shrek's house with Donkey in the window, the talking donkey puppet, which is phenomenal. And then you've got the Little Ogres area, which is like the climbing area that replaced the old Fievel. And it's got a bunch of elements we can talk about. So what was your feeling about the Shrek area?
I love just the visual of when you walk in and see it. I loved it. The meet and greet is so fun. I was first in line because I have spent a couple different times hanging out in DreamWorks Land, but I haven't gotten to actually meet Shrek and Fiona. So I was I'm waiting for that. Loved it. I mean, here's the thing: kids don't know who Fievel is.
Right? Absolutely,
We needed
no clue.
something new. I mean, I don't have an emotional attachment to Shrek.
Before
this, but now I'm starting to really kind of like him.
Yeah.
And I have spent a good several days hanging out there now, and each time has been for a few hours, and I'm why am I having so much fun? This isn't even for me.
Yeah. No, I would say that the meet and greet is definitely my favorite part of the Shrek area. They were always great when they were over where the Illuminations meet and greet is now. But this gives them an environment that really fits them. And the voice actors who do Donkey are just spot on. They are so sharp.
So good. And then we also
So I gotta say the one during the media event, Jason Horn, who's a creative director over there, he was supposed to have this bit with Donkey, and Donkey just went totally off script.
that
And
was
Jason was just we rehearsed this. What are you doing?
That was really, really funny. I like the water features there, which I have ran through a few times myself.
Fun little splash pad. Fun little splash pad.
And then I have to say, Swamp Treats, which is the little food stand, has brought now some of my favorite new snacks at Universal Studios Florida. The Shrexel gets all the attention, and while I do love it, it's more like a denser pretzel bread. The Swamp Dog was so good. Did you try it?
So the Swamp Dog was the only thing that they had run out of when I made it up there. I've tried the Shrexel a couple times. It's not my pretzel. I'm a Wawa man, and there's something about
a Wawa stuffed pretzel.
Something about the texture, the flatness, the doughiness of the Shrexel is just not to my taste.
Okay.
I did the waffles that were stuffed with pepperoni, and I don't know that I would go and have that necessarily again. And I did have the chocolate ice pop, which basically is a fudgesicle. It's like one of those, old fudgesicles you'd get in elementary school, except it's in the shape of Donkey. But yeah, the Swamp Dog is the one that I have heard the most people say that was the best thing, and I do have to go back and give that.
It was really good, not just this is good. I'm already thinking about when I have my HHN nights, I'm gonna pregame. With the Swamp Dog because it's actually substantial.
Yeah,
and it was just.
It is. I thought the waffle was basically a quarter of an Eggo, and with $11 or something like that. I didn't think that was a great value, but the Swamp Dog did look pretty substantial. I think if I ate that, I would
Yes.
probably not be hungry for the rest of the day. Um, Most important question: did you go down the fart slide?
I did. Not the night when we were together. I have previously gone down it. It's funny. I mean, in that area though, I will say I like the Swamp Dog, but I feel like the Pinocchio Who Tells Lies
Mhm.
really wins that little play area. There's a little button.
Yeah.
He comes out and says funny
Yeah,
lies
it's
and
a
his nose
little
grows.
minimal animatronic, and his
Yes.
nose comes out.
And
He's
I
got a
think
few
I've done
funny
that
ones,
like 20 times so
right?
far. I don't know. He just cracks me up. It's a fun, good play area. And that
Well,
slide is good. The fart slide's good.
well, my warning to folk, if you are an adult who likes like climbing through Camp Jurassic, this playground is probably going to be a little too small for you. I feel like Camp Jurassic has things that adult sized people can enjoy too, and I felt like the playground, especially the slide, was definitely not engineered for full sized human beings. I had to kind of wiggle my way to the bottom to avoid getting stuck.
Yes.
So beware of that one. Other We were talking about food. Other than Shrexel, if we move on a little further into the land, we've got the Trolls area around the Troller Coaster, and the Troller Coaster we got to ride that together.
Yes, we did.
It's Woody. It's the exact same. They
It
didn't
is,
retrack
but
it or anything. It's
what I
Woody.
love about it is that it's actually aggressive. It looks like it's like small potatoes, but it is an aggressive
It-
roller coaster if you sit in the back,
yeah,
especially.
if you sit in the front half, it's completely forceless.
Yeah,
Like at times, it just kind of feels like you're almost pushing yourself over the hill. But if you sit in the back 2 rows, you get some nice snap
you really
in the
do.
back. Absolutely, absolutely. And I like the big spider web and the goofy spider characters that they put over it. The only thing I wish they had put some canopy for shading. There's again, the queue is completely unshaded and will be brutal this summer. But
Mhm.
my favorite thing in the Trolls area was Trolls Treats. It's this snack stand shaped like a boombox. And I'm not usually a big soft serve ice cream fan, but they have a huckleberry, and I had the pink lemonade one. I thought it was really good.
It was. I had both. I had someone when we like shared them.
Nice.
Really good. And I'm
Which
not
did you like
usually.
better between the two?
Oh, I think I like the blue better, but I
Okay, I gotta
only
go
had
back and try
one
the
lit
huckleberry. Yeah.
because it does turn your mouth blue. So I didn't want to just kind of ruin my whole day and be a Smurf. So
That's a different franchise. We can't
yeah.
say that. Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed the pink lemonade one, and I would go back and try that
And
one
it
again.
just looks really cute. They do a nice job. You have the swirl and the little beads on there. So
Mhm. And then surrounding, we've also got, in addition to the major play elements, you've got some little minor ones for littler kids. There's Poppy's Playground from Trolls that's right out in front of the theater, and that's for like real little toddlers. And I, as a certified cat lady, I love Mama Luna's. It's this little area you go in with lots of buttons and
yes,
dials to
that was
press, and they
fun.
all
Yeah.
make the computer generated cats move around, which I thought was really cute. And then finally, I don't know if we have any pictures in this article, but the back of the oh, there we go. The back of the land here is Kung Fu Panda. You can tell they kept the structure of the old Curious George, but they put a lot more detail to make it look like a Chinese pagoda. And they've still got some water play features on the right side, but inside where the ball factory used to be is the Po Live interactive show, which is kind of like Turtle Talk
It's
with Crust.
really
Did you
good.
get to
Yeah.
see it?
I did it a few times actually. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
the first time I made my husband do like the ninja training. It's really funny to watch, but also it's like a very not that it's an adult show because it's not adult
Mhm.
humor, but it's really like skewed towards being funny and just
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's really entertaining for anyone.
I really enjoyed it, and I realized after seeing it a couple times that there's different variations. They don't necessarily do the
Mhm.
same routines. There I saw one time where this green portal opened and the bad guy came through, and everyone had to stop him. And the show was different the second time I saw it. So that's cool that you can go back multiple times. It's not just the same script every time, and the technology behind it is really impressive. Because they're rendering, more than at least 4K, if not higher, in real time with lip sync animation, and they have full body motion capture, and it even looks like they're doing either global illumination or real-time ray tracing. There's some, like, if you look at his fur, when there's a light behind him, you can kind of see the light transmitting through the edges of the fur. It's some really advanced tech going on there.
And it's shaded, so that's another good thing.
Yes, this is one of the only areas, I will say, the whole land could use a lot more shade. And that is one of the few like covered indoor areas. It is an air conditioned, it's not enclosed, but at least it's a little cooler, and they got some big fans going in there, so that definitely helped.
But if you do want to find the coldest place in DreamWorks Land,
the theater.
Yes.
Oh my God, the theater. Yes. If you want to chill out, the former Date in the Park with Barney, R.I.P. Barney. It has been taken over by the DreamWorks Imagination Celebration, and I've said this before. I was a fan of Barney, but this new show is way better than the old Barney show ever used to be. Great puppets,
loved
great
it.
video effects, live singing, talented performers. Even if you don't, this is like my dividing line is like, as a single adult with no children, do I feel creepy sitting through this show? Like, if we're talking like Disney Junior Playhouse, that I feel creepy sitting through there, because there's no reason to be in that show if you don't have a toddler. This show, I will happily go without any kids, and I don't care what you think. I'm still going to enjoy the show.
Same. I think this is my third time seeing it childless. It's so good. There's a male and a female lead who kind of dominate all the vocals, and the song, it runs in the family. They do it so well with their harmonies. All your favorite characters are in it. It's just fun. It's a good show. There's a story to it. So
I gotta say, I give them props for bringing the song "True Colors" back to an Orlando theme park after we lost it at Imagination's 3D movie at Epcot so many years ago. I love that song. One last thing. They very unceremoniously removed the last trace of Woody Woodpecker from the park. Kid Zone Pizza Company is dead. It is now DreamWorks Imagination Cafe. It is selling something they call an Ogoroni pizza, which that is one of the oddest shaped pizzas that I've ever seen. It's like fluffy dough. It almost looks like a calzone with no stuffing.
I went there on Friday, which was opening day when this opened. I wanted to get it. It looks really good. It looks like fresh dough, like you said, like an open face calzone. It was just so hot on Friday that
I can't imagine eating hot dough and cheese.
I wanted it so bad because it really looks like a fresh little pizza or whatever you want to call it. It looks so good, but I was far too hot. And if you've ever sat in that little seating area next to Kid Zone / DreamWorks Cafe,
it's brutal.
It's brutal, and I'll have to try it another time, but it's too hot over there.
I hopefully also they will. This is where they used to have pizza fries for Halloween, so hopefully they'll either come back here or somewhere else. Otherwise, I think there will be riots.
If they sell that pizza during HHN2, I would not be mad, because that looks like a nice substantial thing you can have and run around all night. Yeah.
That will definitely give you some carbs. Finally, the remnants of the old Kid Zone are E.T. Adventure and Animal Actors. They are both still around, but now they are classified as part of Hollywood. It's really funny if you look at the map, because SpongeBob SquarePants is also still part of Hollywood. And if you look at the map now, they really had to like carve out. It looks like gerrymandering. It looks like one of these voting maps that the Supreme Court would strike down, because it kind of like snakes around ET. It picks up SquarePants, but then this new DreamWorks Cafe is sort of like wedged between them. It has a little annex. It's so silly. But if this means that ET got some love, then it is all worth it. And it's got a beautiful new sign that helped lead people back there. And they have touched up almost all the animatronics in the ride. Magdoll does not freak me out anymore with her weird half blinking eyes. Her mouth moves correctly now. The conductor ET actually rotates on his podium and conducts his arms like he hasn't done that in 15 years. Even my favorite new change, or least favorite new change, I'm not sure yet. when you near the beginning of the ride, when you come off the hill and land on top of the cop car, and there's a
Yeah.
department store dummy police officer who's standing by the tree who says "Whoa!" and he used to just
Whoa!
kneel down really awkwardly. Now he like sways to the side and kind of like bends over, and it's like it's even more awkward, but it's like he's got like 3 or 4 new movements now. So it like totally pulls attention to him. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Go and check
It's
him
a
out.
good
I think it
pace,
should
and
be I
it's
think
like
his movement should become a TikTok dance because
yes.
it's so weird the way he kind of contorts himself around.
I love the way he says "whoa" because it's so
Whoa!
animated, and it's just the vibrancy. You know, they're
Oh,
obviously keeping up with the colorful of the planet. You know, they're really getting those. There's
they
so much
added these
neon.
new these new kind of neon strings
Mhm.
and you know, it's amazing because I've just become so used to going through especially the second half of that ride and everything just being frozen in place. And
Not
it
anymore. Yeah.
looks bright and vibrant. ET even said my name. And
Oh,
he hasn't gotten my name right in 10 years. So
yay!
it made me so happy.
No
It
better
I
feeling.
mean, honestly, I think my favorite thing about DreamWorks Land is that ET Adventure got some love.
Yeah.
So, well, if you want to check this all out for yourself, MEI Mouse Fan Travel, they have their Universal Fan Travel division. They will absolutely help get you there and
And
check
get a
it
swamp
all
dog.
out. Yes, and get a swamp dog and
Get a
let us
swamp
know
dog.
what you thought. Oh, wow. Well, that was a lot. And
Yes.
before
I
we
mean,
wrap this up, I'm sure we have a few comments to check in on. So let's see what you folks had to say. We are running back up to the top. We absolutely have gotten a bunch of comments. Checking in, Cindy Bingham said hello to everyone.
hello.
Um, we've got Object saying that they went to Universal's new show on opening night. I
Yes,
hope you enjoyed it. Michael Bingham agrees with you that CineSational is sensational.
it is.
Welcome, Jacob. It's Jacob's first time here. Hello,
Hey,
Jacob.
welcome. It's a fun
Um,
party.
and Jacob wanted to say that he loves both Disney and Universal, but more of a Disney guy because he loves. Hey, that's cool. We like all
Mhm.
types. That's all right. Um, and Weiser was wondering if we've seen the Trolls Band Together movie. I am ashamed to say I have not actually seen any of the Trolls movies.
I
I know. I just need to check it out.
I haven't either. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
I
I'll
was
get
gonna
around to
watch
it.
for as prep, like before Pixar Fest, I watched like every Pixar movie, but I didn't think it was as necessary for this.
Yeah. No, I need to jump on the Trolls bandwagon. Get it? I said band.
Yes.
Michael Bingham also gives a big thumbs up for that preview center. He wants to be there every day.
Same.
And yes, that app is excellent. Unfortunately, it looks like the Attractions Magazine Dark Universe medallion is still stuck on a FedEx truck. So
I mean, are you shocked? It's FedEx. I
yeah.
mean, that's just the story of my life when they deliver something.
Oh, Vince Lamb checking in. Hello, Vince. Wishing
Hello.
everyone a happy World Crocodile Day, belated Father's Day, and Sea Turtle Day, and an early June 19th. Thank you for covering all the bases there. Michael Bingham, he's a fan of the Shrexel and the Swamp Dog, and he also liked the pink lemonade ice cream like I did. And wow, you got to see a marriage proposal at the Shrek meet and greet that afternoon. That's hilarious.
Wait, that's really funny because my
I want
friend
to
saw
hear about
one
that.
that day in Minion Land. So there must have
Wow.
been love in the air on June 14th.
I guess so. And finally, our good friend out in California, Erico, checking in to say hi.
Happy
He's
belated
hoping-
birthday, Erico.
Yes, he's hoping to make an Orlando trip this summer. He hasn't seen Iron Gwazi yet, or hasn't been back since Iron Gwazi. So it's been a couple of years, Eric. I've always got a couch for you. So, all right. Well, that just about brings us to the end of this show. Before we finish it off, as always, we want to thank our sponsors, MEI and Mousefan Travel. We want to remind you to please give us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Like and subscribe to us here on YouTube if you watch the live stream. And be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com. Search for Attractions Magazine in all of your favorite social media platforms. Carly, where can folks find you in the socials?
Yes, I am on Instagram at Adventures by Carly, and I am on X at Carly Caramana.
And I am everywhere at Eskabursky and at The Unofficial Guides. And of course, you can pick up copies of my books at theunofficialguides.com. And until next week, we hope you folks stay safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun,
Bye.
and we will see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.